We gather this morning as a people united, una gente unida. We gather because of, not despite, our abundant, life-giving, and diverse ways of understanding how justice and the divine intersect in our lives. We gather this morning, nos juntamos aquí, a people of faith, una gente de fe, in all of the ways that it is made manifest in our lives. We gather this morning to celebrate and encourage diversity, plurality, a multiplicity of ways of knowing and experiencing the divine, both as it flows through us and also as a sacred force that guides us to the future, una fuerza sagrada que nos guía hacia el futuro. May our gathering this morning help ground us to the present needs of our community. May it remind us of our accountability, both to ourselves here in this room, to one another, and to the community who is not gathered with us here presently. May our interconnectedness, nuestra interconexión, may our interconnectedness here be but one of many ways that we honor and make peace in the world. May it also guide us to honor the grief and fear for those who are living fractured lives of fear and loss. May we feed those who hunger physically and spiritually. May we clothe those who want for clothing. May we be a place of refuge for those who seek it. Que seamos un refugio para los que lo necesite. May we be a people of action for intersectional justice, una justicia interseccional, for intersectional climate justice, for racial justice, for religious and faith justice in this world. And may we also center the humanness that unites us here on this Mother Earth, esta Madre Tierra, right now. So let us join and enjoy our company this morning, giving thanks for breaking bread together in this community.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brett Schaefer, and I'm honored to be president of the board of Friends Indeed, the nonprofit that helps arrange the mayor's team in the prayer breakfast. The mayor's Interfaith Prayer Breakfast is a wonderful opportunity for local Pasadena businesses, congregations, community leaders, and individuals from all walks of life to come together. We're grateful to each and every one of you who've made the time to be with us here this morning. Before we go any further, I need to share a few quick housekeeping instructions. Please take this moment to silence your phones. We want each person in attendance to be able to enjoy the whole presentation. Also, the restrooms are located in the corner to my left, your right. And should you have any other questions or concerns throughout the morning, please feel free to check with the Friends Indeed folks over there. Friends Indeed has been a pillar in the Pasadena community for 130 years. we're blessed to provide supportive services to those who need our help most, but can only do so with the support of our greater community. Hence our motto, doing together what we cannot do alone. This year, we're proud once again that we have Westcom Credit Union to provide as our presenting sponsor. Like Friends Indeed, Westcom Credit Union has been a leading institution in the Pasadena area for many years. Since their early days, the credit union has emphasized a service-first culture, which is just one of the ways their organization aligns with Friends Indeed. Thank you, Westcom Credit Union, for helping make this 51st annual Mayor's Interfaith Prayer Breakfast a huge success. It is my great pleasure to introduce Darren Williams, President and CEO of Westcom Credit Union.
Thank you, Brett, very much. Good morning. Good morning, Mayor Gordo, council members, Dr. Ramirez, representatives, and honored guests. It truly is our pleasure and honor to join you this morning for the 51st annual Pasadena Mayor's Interfaith Prayer Breakfast. As a resident and a corporate citizen of Pasadena for nearly 40 years now, we're proud to be a sponsor of this inclusive community event again this year. Today's theme of leaping into the future really resonates with Westcom. We've been around for 90 years, and we've been guided that whole time by the belief that diversity makes us stronger. Our culture values inclusivity, and celebrating our differences has helped us leap into the future and continues to help us in our core purpose of helping build better lives for all. As we look forward to leaping into the next 90 years, one of the meaningful ways we do that is through our charitable foundation, the Westcom Foundation. Since its founding in 1999, the foundation has contributed $5 million to nonprofit organizations, particularly those here in the Pasadena area, with a multitude of volunteer efforts from our team members as well. This year, in fact, our team members are on pace to donate over 1,200 volunteer hours serving our communities. We look forward to leaping into the future with you all and sharing this morning of reflection and learning. And thank you for allowing us to be a part of this important event.
Well, greetings, everyone. I'm going to be blessing the food. So what a joy it is to come together in fellowship and to lift up our prayers for our community and for the world. So let us turn within right now to the God of creation and pray God's blessings upon this food that we're about to eat. And we just give thanks for this opportunity to be together in fellowship. We give thanks to those who prepared this food. May it go to the nourishment of our body. And let this coming together today be for the good. And so it is. Amen and Ashe.
So at this time, we're going to have food that has been blessed. So just enjoy each other's company, and if you will, just thank the staff of this convention center who work really, really hard. So when they're bringing the food around, just say thank you. And enjoy each other's company. We'll be back in a little bit with the rest of our program.
Since 1894, we've made it our mission at Friends Indeed to reach out and help those who find themselves on the margin with dignity and respect. We believe that giving to those in need helps build a stronger community in Pasadena. We distribute groceries to local families through our food pantry, providing more than 500,000 meals per year. That's thousands of pounds of groceries each week to hundreds of households. Our pantry provides groceries like a neighborhood market, where families get real food to supplement their weekly meals, including bags of fresh fruits and vegetables, and meat and protein too.
Our bad weather shelter gives folks experiencing homelessness refuge from the winter cold and rain. We operate when needed, about 40 nights out of the year. We set up cots for 80 people each night, and our volunteers are happy to provide a hot, healthy meal and a safe place to sleep.
In the women's room, we believe in giving homeless and at-risk women a space to build meaningful lives through community, boosting their confidence and self-esteem by engaging in many forms of art, writing, and self-care. We also provide assistance with basic services like showers, clean laundry, good food, and a place to find support and love. The results can be life-changing. Our eviction prevention and rental assistance program helps neighbors avoid eviction by providing short-term rental assistance, which is critical to maintaining housing stability in our community. This program also provides our clients with supportive services to help sustain their current housing, including case management. Our street outreach and housing team works to build relationships with people experiencing homelessness. We identify and reach out to over 100 folk each year. Our goal is to reduce their housing barriers and eventually navigate them to interim and permanent housing and give them keys to a new life. Since 1894, we have been doing together what we cannot do alone. Through compassion, connection, and dignity, we are changing lives. At Friends Indeed, we serve our neighbors in need. Join us in helping the Pasadena community. To learn more or donate to our cause, visit us at friendsindeedpas.org.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Rabbi Joshua Levine Grader. I'm honored to be the executive director of Friends Indeed, and want to thank you all for being here. And before I just tell you a word about one of our programs, I want to just acknowledge that some dignitaries and representative of dignitaries. So I want to give thanks to the Office of Representative Judy Chu, who is here, not the representatives from her office, of Senator Portantino, Assemblymember Holden, the PUSD board members we have here, and yes, and as a proud alumni parent of Marshall Fundamental, let's hear it for their orchestra. And obviously, we can't do anything at Friends Indeed without our amazing staff and volunteers. So we have a lot of our staff here, too many to name, but please thank our Friends Indeed staff and our board members. We have board members here, so thank our Friends Indeed members of the board of directors. So I could give you more numbers about the people that we're helping, the numbers of people that we've gotten off the street, that we're serving food, that we're keeping from being evicted and helping to shelter during the winter. But I want to talk specifically about one of the aspects of our program that is critical. And we're really trying to be a holistic agency, meaning that we care for all aspects of a person's life, not just their physical well-being, but spiritual, mental well-being. And so I will point you to the flowers on the table, the centerpieces, which first of all, thank you to Trader Joe's, who donated all the flowers and donates a lot to Friends Indeed on a weekly basis. And these flowers were arranged by women in the women's room, several of them who are here. And so let's give thanks to our guests in the women's room, because working with flowers, you might not think, well, what does that have to do with experiencing homelessness? But honestly, we have seen that giving people a sense of purpose, giving them a sense of artistic expression, a sense of community, a sense of being able to look at something that they created beautifully, it gives a person the dignity that often they don't feel on the street. It helps them to be seen. It helps them to like they are contributing. And we are so grateful that our staff in the women's room sees that and brings opportunities. And one of the opportunities that is hot off the press, so hot it's not even here, is the ladies with one of our amazing volunteers created a zine with their art, with their stories, with their poetry, pictures, and this volunteer put it together into a beautiful, beautiful booklet, and it's going to be available. We're going to make it available. It was issue 1, I'm told, of Flourish, which is one of the themes of the women's room. We just had an art show at Vroman's, and that was the theme. But just an amazing piece of work that blew me away. We do so much. I didn't even know they were doing this. But to see that product and to see how proud they were, and it's so beautifully designed. So I'm just really grateful, and I can't wait for you to see the creation that these women are able to give and have the chance to work on and to do together. That's our motto, and it usually is for volunteers and all of us doing together what we can't do alone, but it applies to our programs because our guests and our clients look out for each other. They tell each other about what we do. They are there for each other. And so I want to point also, I'd be remiss to say we can't do any of the work that we do without everyone's help and support. So we have some envelopes, we have QR codes. You can go online, make a donation if you're so moved, and we're really grateful for everyone being here. So now it is my pleasure to bring up the host of this morning, Pasadena's Mayor Victor Gordo.
Thank you, Rabbi. How's everyone doing? All right, so I'm going to look to the overachievers over here to lead it. This is a terrific day where we all have the good fortune and opportunity to be here together, to celebrate together. So I'm going to ask one more time. How's everybody doing? Much better. I too would like to thank the Marshall Orchestra for their terrific music. But I also like to thank all of the workers who served us a terrific breakfast this morning. Come on out and be recognized. We all arrived at 7 in the morning, but they were here long before that, ensuring that everything was ready for us to have a terrific breakfast. And so thank you. I can tell you, as the son of a cook who worked at the same restaurant for 50 years, that it takes a lot of love and sacrifice and a lot of hard work before the guests arrive to ensure that events like this are successful. So, again, thank you to all the people who contributed to that. Let me just say what an honor and a privilege it is to be here with all of you today and welcome you to the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. Our theme today is leaping into the future, but it's not just leaping into the future, it's leaping into the future with hope and in search of opportunity for all of us. I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'd also like to welcome Councilmember Jason Lyon, my colleague, and Councilmember Jean Masuda, and Janet Braun, who is a member of the South Pasadena City Council, our neighbor who is also here with us. As we know, we're all here to support Friends Indeed and the great work that they do in giving hope and opportunity to those who maybe aren't seeing it immediately in front of them. For generations, over 100 years, Friends Indeed has been an important pillar in this community, driven by individuals whose work as individuals and then work collectively has made a difference in the lives of many, many Pasadenans and many families. And that's one of the things that makes our city so special, is we have so many individuals, so many organizations that take the time to make a difference in the lives of our friends, neighbors, and family members. And so let's give a round of applause to Rabbi Grader and his staff and all of the volunteers who are involved with Friends Indeed. Thank you to the committee. All of this beautiful event is led by a committee of individuals who take the time to ensure that we have a successful event. And if you are a member of the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast Committee, please stand and be recognized. And of course, Friends Indeed is also led by a board of directors. And that board of directors is led by President Brett Selleck and Rabbi Grader. Thank you, President, and to your board. Vanya, you're not being all that subtle. Why don't you just... Oh, Mr. Hampton is here. I love it when Vanya pretends to be so subtle in the middle of a packed room. People know, Vanya, you direct much of my work, and they know it. So, Darren Williams and Westcom. Let's hear for Darren Williams and Westcom, who have supported this event for a number of years. I recall calling Darren and asking him to be supportive of this event, and he just, didn't flinch one bit. Is a resident of Pasadena and has Westcom's headquarters just down the street here. And so we want to thank and acknowledge Westcom for all of their support. So, as I was thinking about today, leaping into the future, and by the way, happy leap year. For those of you who don't recall, this is a leap year, hence leaping into the future. As I was thinking about it, I couldn't help but reflect where we've been. And I couldn't help to reflect how we've come together stronger, a more resilient community. Think about the last 4 years think about not just COVID, but some of the social justice issues that we've grappled with. Think about the budget, the economy, and so we have been through a lot together, and we ought to take a moment to recognize that because as a community, we showed a lot of resilience. As a community, we showed a lot of, yeah, give it up for yourselves, yeah. We showed a lot of what in the Latino community we call corazón. We showed a lot of heart for one another. And so I'm very proud to have served and had the opportunity to work with so many of you as we all did our individual and collective parts to get our community through what I consider to be, and I hope to be, the most difficult time that we ever face as a society. But I have hope for the future. Notwithstanding things that we see happening throughout the world, and maybe not even throughout the world, but just down the street. There's a bit of emotion, there's a bit of instability, and there's a lot of hope that needs to be looked to in order to get us through these difficult times. We see what's happening in the Middle East. We see what's happening in other parts of the world. And so I ask today on this day of prayer that however you choose to convey your prayer or simply good thoughts, that we take a moment of silence and convey your good thoughts, convey your prayers for those that are suffering, not just throughout the world, but those that are struggling and suffering right here in our own communities, right here in our neighboring communities. And so I would ask that we take a brief moment of silence and acknowledge some of the difficulties, but do so with hope that we, working together, can get through them. Thank you. And so today, my role really is to introduce someone who is, who personifies hope and opportunity as an individual, someone whose family personifies what's possible when you have hope and you see opportunity, and not necessarily for yourself, but when you have hope and you see opportunity for those around you. I tell people that I was born in Zacatecas, Mexico, and my parents left me in Zacatecas when I was 2 years old because they came here to the States in search of opportunity. And imagine what it would take to leave everything you know, everyone you know, and your children behind, and go to a different part of the world and know that you're going to start at the bottom of the rung. Know that you won't even speak the language that's spoken. Know that you'll have to learn different customs. Know that you'll have to learn different streets. But you do that because you have hope. You do that because you have you're looking for opportunity. Again, not necessarily for yourself, but for your children. And so today we have Dr. Melissa Ramirez, who is a Pasadenan, who is the beneficiary of the sacrifice that her parents made for her and for her family. Señor y señora Ramirez, el sacrificio que hicieron ustedes para que su hija tuviera esta oportunidad de estar aquí es un sacrificio que, pues, dificultoso de entender, dificultoso de de comprender. Y yo, como alcalde de la ciudad de Pasadena, de parte de todos los miembros de la ciudad de Pasadena, quiero felicitarlos, porque ese sacrificio fue un gran sacrificio, pero miren cómo estamos aquí, con la doctora Ramirez. I said to Dr. Ramirez's parents that we congratulate them, and I, as mayor, on behalf of all of us in Pasadena, congratulate them for the tremendous sacrifice that they made coming to this country, being one of those families that left everything and everyone behind, so that their children, their daughter, would have hope and opportunity. Now, you can have hope and opportunity, but if you don't couple it with hard work, if you don't couple it with a real desire to succeed and to contribute, then it's just a missed opportunity. And we all hope we don't see too many of those missed opportunities. But today we have Melissa Ramirez, a first-generation Latina born to Mexican immigrants. She earned her BA in chemistry from the University of Pennsylvania, where she was a Gates Millennium Scholar. At UCLA, she furthered her studies, training in computational and synthetic organic chemist. After earning her PhD in organic chemistry, she began her postdoctoral studies at Caltech, and her achievements have been recognized through the NGF MPS Ascend Fellowship and the Caltech Presidential Postdoctoral Fellowship, among others. Dr. Ramirez is committed to science, outreach, and fostering diversity in STEM. At UCLA and Caltech, she has served as a board member for organizations that promote diversity, working to create inclusive spaces in STEAM, in STEAM, and supporting scientists from unrepresented minority communities. Dr. Ramirez is excited about training the next generation of synthetic and computational organic chemists. You can do a lot of recruiting in this room, by the way. And early next year, she will be starting the Ramirez Laboratory in the chemistry department at the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. Dr. Ramirez also attended schools here in Pasadena and grew up and lives 2 blocks from my house. And so she's someone who is familiar, as are her parents, and she'll tell you a little bit more about her parents. But I'd like to welcome to the stage one of Pasadena's own, someone whose family had hope and sought opportunity, but then she as an individual put the work and time into ensuring that hope and opportunity provided to her was not a missed one. Come on up, Dr. Ramirez.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Mayor Gordo, for that very kind introduction. And thank you, Friends Indeed, for hosting and for the invitation. Let me just go ahead and fix this. I think it's a little high. There you go. Yeah, so as Mayor Gordo mentioned, I went to school here in Pasadena. There you go. Okay, there you go. That's what I was kind of waiting for. It's incredibly meaningful to be able to take part in this morning of unity and prayer within such a diverse community. Having grown up here, I know firsthand how diverse of a community Pasadena is. My family contributes to that diversity. I am, as mentioned earlier, I am first generation Mexican American, a proud Chicana. My parents were both born in Guanajuato, Mexico, in a rancho called Botija. They immigrated to Pasadena in the 1970s and are still in Pasadena today. And so, as you can see here in these pictures, my mom is shown on the left holding my younger sister. I'm the kid in the middle trying to take the toy cart away from my cousin, who's actually sitting here today, Diane. And so my dad immigrated here to Pasadena with my mom. This is a picture of my dad in 1981. And so when he immigrated to Pasadena, he was 16 years old. He did not get an education past the second grade. He started working at the age of 9, actually, as a shepherd and field worker in Mexico. In the U.S., my dad worked at Burger Continental on Lake Avenue for 25 years, which. Yeah, I know Burger Continental was a spot. And so he did the cleaning and dishwashing there. He worked 14 to 16-hour shifts, 5 days out of the week. I remember trips to the parking lot of Pavilions, which is right next door to Burger Continental, or that's where it was located previously. I remember trips to the parking lot of Pavilions to pick up my dad at midnight. My dad always smelled like grilled chicken as soon as he stepped into the car. And so he'd get in the car and he always looked so exhausted. I remember that on some mornings, he'd admit that he wasn't too excited about showing up to work again at 10 a.m. for a long day. But he didn't have a choice. He'd say, "Le tenemos que echar ganas." We have to try our best. And he'd say, "Estudia para que no tengas que sufrir como nosotros, hija." Study so that you have another option. I remember that sometimes my dad had side hustles as well. There was a time when he flipped cars, and there was a time when he bought a carpet cleaner with the goal of having a carpet cleaning business. And so that translated to me in the long run into also having my own little side hustles, but that's a separate story. After working at Burger Continental, he proceeded to work at JPL, at one of the dining halls there, and eventually went to Caltech to work at the dining hall. So that's currently now known as Brown Dining Hall. My mother now, she immigrated to the U.S. with my dad, immediately working as a caregiver to the elderly. Like my dad, she did not obtain an education past the second grade, but learned English on the job and had a strong work ethic. Even if she did not understand what an Ivy League school is, or what the hexagons, molecules that I draw are, she taught me how to be independent and create a future for myself rather than settle for less. And so that being said, from my parents, I learned early on the importance of taking things a step at a time and of moving forward every single day. These are a couple more pictures here. I'm one out of five. So actually, if you look at the bottom left-hand side, that's me and my younger sister in the center, and then my cousin Diane on the right. The 5 of us are in that next picture with my oldest sister at the center. And then here are a couple more pictures of me as a kid growing up. My younger sister's in that third picture on the bottom right. And so in moving forward every single day, my parents nonetheless still were supportive in encouraging me to ask questions and to stay curious. I think that's something I still carry with me today. So, staying curious. One of the most special memories I have as a kid is of my dad letting me pick any book from the Scholastic book order, no matter how much it cost. My mom, who was the money manager, always wanted me to pick a $1 book on the front page, and there was only one, but he let me pick any. There was a time he let me pick the whole Junie B. Jones book series, and it was the most exciting thing to get in the mail. He supported me in everything academic despite our family's limited finances, and he passed down a strong sense of curiosity and enthusiasm for learning. Growing up, I could always count on him to update me on something new he learned on the Discovery Channel or National Geographic. And so despite their lack of a formal education, my parents motivated me to work hard in earning my education. From them, I learned to value what I have and to be fortunate for the opportunities that I am given and the people who have helped me along the way. As I grow older, I turn to my parents more and more for consejos, because I know there is truth in the wisdom that they pass down to me. Consejos being advice. And so although my parents fostered this curiosity and were very supportive, I certainly didn't know that I could make it to where I am today. Growing up, I didn't feel like I had the confidence that I saw in others, both inside and outside of the classroom. I was usually quiet, mentally in a battle with myself and trying to build up the courage to speak up. Thus, my strong desire for self-improvement, along with the unwavering support from my family, friends, and mentors, has played a key role in bringing me to where I am today. And so that being said, there were experiences from my childhood that are quite unforgettable because they helped me gain the confidence that I could achieve anything that I set my mind to. One of these experiences was being a part of Girl Scouts when I was at Jefferson Elementary School. And so at the time, my teacher had started the Girl Scout troop, and this was the first experience where I felt a sense of leadership and a part of a community of empowerment. This is me as a 4th or 5th grader. And my parents didn't know what Girl Scouts was. So it was I think, one of the first times I took initiative in exploring my interests. And so that being said, it wasn't until the end of middle school that I learned about college. I was first fully exposed to the idea of college in 8th grade at Marshall Fundamental. So I attended, there you go, there's a Marshall Fundamental, woo! Go Eagles! Yeah, so it wasn't until the 8th grade that I learned about college. I didn't know what it was. And when I was at Marshall, I was there for middle school and high school. The student population at Marshall at the time was predominantly Hispanic, or there was at least a significant number of Latino students. And most of the families, from my understanding, were low income. At Marshall in the 8th grade, Maribel Dominguez, a school counselor at Marshall, and she's here today. Here you go, Ms. Dominguez. So at the time, I remember Ms. Dominguez came into my English classroom in the 8th grade, and she gave a presentation about the Puente program. The Puente program is an academic and community leadership program that aims to increase the number of underrepresented students who enroll in 4-year colleges and universities. And so Ms. Dominguez gave a presentation on what Puente was, and as an 8th grader, I had not thought beyond high school. And it was really Ms. Dominguez's guidance and introductions into Puente that really drew me into this pathway that that I have now taken and I will continue to take. So I am very thankful to Ms. Dominguez. And so a quick round of applause. Thank you, Ms. Dominguez. And so I participated in Puente consistent. So actually, before I move forward, this is so Puente takes in a cohort of about 25 to 30 students every year. Starting from freshman year, you're with your cohort, and there's a large focus on higher education, but also community service, and I'll share more about that in a moment. But this is a cohort I was a part of. I'm in the center at the top of that picture, and there was a group of 25 of us. Ms. Dominguez is on the right-hand side. I'm here in the center with Ms. Dominguez right next to me in the center. She's on my right-hand side. And so I participated in Puente consistently throughout my time at Marshall. I was extremely timid when I first joined, but it was through the Puente leadership roles. I pushed myself to take on leadership roles in Puente, and that eventually led to me becoming the president of Puente during my senior year. Puente provided me with community at Marshall, and it gave me a cohort of individuals to work with and figuring things out in terms of getting to college. And I think that's so important in terms of looking toward the future, is making sure that we're aware of who we're surrounding ourselves with. Because when you have someone right next to you working toward a similar goal, you have someone to lean on. And so I learned that early on in Puente, the importance of having other people to lean on to go on a particular journey. So here are a couple more pictures from my time in Puente. As you can see, so the Puente, by my senior year, the Puente program, this was a picture from that last senior year here on the top left. I'm at the center, and I was the president during my last year. Like I mentioned, Puente was largely based on community service and opportunities to become exposed to college opportunities. And so that being said, because we did service work, there were quite a number of events here local to Pasadena that many of you guys may be familiar with that I contributed to or helped with during high school. So that includes a Latino Heritage Parade, which takes place every year, as well as the Union Station dinner at the park. This takes place every year as well. This is on Thanksgiving Day. And actually, I don't know if you guys might recognize this is there's someone famous who went to an actor who was at the event. So here we were really excited because we were serving food, and then there was an actor who also attended the event, and so we were kind of fangirling. Rose Parade float decorating. I think many of you are very familiar with how Pasadena is, the opportunities in Pasadena to contribute to the Rose Parade and help prepare for that. So we did that every year. And the Doodah Parade, which is a bit more of an eccentric, different kind of parade, right? It's quite a bit of fun, and so we volunteered at that every single year. While participating in these events, something that I realized, and that's something that I really hold on to today, and I hope that you guys can also carry with you, is that we don't know what we don't know, and having a community to figure things out with is key. And it's having people look out for you and not just find opportunities for you, but also point out parts that are not helpful to you. And so that being said, I was heavily involved with Puente, but I was also very involved in other programs at Marshall. Again, this is Melissa coming into high school, very quiet, and so it was really this mindset of I'm going to take it a step at a time. I'm going to do a little bit more, and what this translated into was signing up to take on more leadership roles, joining clubs. And so one of these was Unidos Club. This was also at Marshall, and this was run by Sandra Rizzo at the time. And so this was a different program that also provided community service opportunities and college opportunities. I was also a part of Associated Student Body, the board there, ASB, as well as National Honor Society. Now, cross country and volleyball, I signed up for volleyball because I was getting ready to put together a strong college application, so I needed to play a sport. And I was not good at sports. I was not coordinated, and I did not want to wear short shorts. I felt really uncomfortable. But this is one of the things where I really put myself out there, and something that I really keep in mind with me is showing up is half the battle at times. Like just showing up. Not, you have to put in the effort, but introducing yourself, and this is not just for volleyball, but these are lessons that I learned early on, and I continue to improve and refine is in terms of mindset is showing up and introducing yourself, giving yourself the chance, staying curious is key to moving forward, making progress, and improving oneself. And so I did volleyball, and then I went on to do cross country as well. And I hated running before signing up for cross country. I did not like to run, but this was one of the things where I was going to work on it. And funny enough, running is one of my hobbies today, and it's one of the things that helps me keep moving forward every single day. So I usually get up. I wake up, and within 15 minutes, I'm out running or working out or something. And to me, that's very symbolic of being able to move forward every single day, even if it's just through actual physical movement. Oh, sorry. Okay, so one other point that I'll highlight, I think that was really valuable. I kind of missed it here. That was valuable to my journey was in also contributing to the Tournament of Roses as a student representative. This was during my senior year, and so this is actually a picture at 4 a.m. on the day of the Rose Parade, and so this was very memorable and also helped put things into perspective for me in terms of giving back to the city of Pasadena. Through this means. And so keeping that in mind, like I said, I was pretty determined to take, or I generally said is, I was pretty determined to take advantage of all available resources in obtaining a college education. My parents were always supportive, but they didn't know how to reach a goal that was how to advise me when this goal was something that was never an option for them. And so the summer after my sophomore year of high school, I learned about Cosmos, or the California State Summer School for Mathematics and Science. This was a month-long program at UC Santa Cruz, and it was my first time away from home. I was able to get financial support from the program, and my parents drove me up to Santa Cruz, not knowing exactly what this all involved, but trusting that it was a good opportunity for me. It was during Cosmos that I became fascinated with how certain fish in the ocean light up. This is called bioluminescence, and the ability to use chemistry to explain this phenomenon. During the summer after my junior year of high school, I was accepted to the Caltech Summer Research Connection program, which served as my first exposure to research and sprouted my interest in pursuing a career in biochemistry. And so at the time, I thought I was going to be a biochemist. That changed, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but I'd like to really thank my high school chemistry teacher, Ms. Seo, who is in the audience today. Ms. Seo is still a chemistry teacher at Marshall Fundamental, and she encouraged me to apply to both Cosmos and the Summer Research Connection programs. And it is through these programs that I realized my interest in science. And I don't think I would have pursued science necessarily if it weren't for these programs. These experiences also highlight the importance of knocking on doors and finding opportunity rather than necessarily waiting for it. I remember finding out about these programs and about scholarship applications later on through Google searches. I would use my lunchtime at Marshall to stop by the counselor's office to do online searches just for college applications. and summer programs. There were 2 computers available for students to use in the college center. And I remember at some point doing a Google search on companies with college scholarships. I remember applying for college scholarships from places like Best Buy, Coca-Cola, and Burger King. At some point, I really just, I had to figure it out. You know, you don't know what you don't know, and I always kept that in mind. And so by my senior year of high school, having fought through my self-consciousness and working toward learning how to speak up and show up, I applied to college, and I was accepted to some really incredible universities. These are some of the universities, including Penn, Cornell, Berkeley, and Tufts, and so I got to do some of the college visits. And so at this time, I knew I was excited about UPenn, and I ended up attending the University of Pennsylvania for my undergraduate studies. I graduated in 2012. I was the first in my family to graduate from high school. Thank you. And then went on to attend the University of Pennsylvania, where I participated in summer programs to help me transition into UPenn's very competitive environment. But given the time constraints, I won't go into too much detail. Really, it took quite a lot for me to transition from the experience I had as a first-generation college student into where I was, or just a first-generation Latina into the college experience. When I was at Penn, I was also a part of the Get to Millennium Scholarship Program, which provided me with a full-ride scholarship to UPenn. And I did a study. I just want to go ahead and check on the time. Are we okay with time? Okay, we're okay with time. All right. So I participated in the Get to Millennium Scholarship Program, as well as the Guatemala Health Initiative, which provided me with the opportunity to do research in Guatemala for a summer. And along the way, I was also able to incorporate myself in the college community through Mechad at Penn. I'm not sure if some of you guys are familiar with Mechad, but this provided me with community during my undergraduate studies. I was away from home, and I missed family quite a bit. But my sisters and my mom did come out to visit me. At the time, I had some trouble with, so I developed a disordered eating, and this is something that impacted my mental health significantly. And so it's something that I had to work through throughout college and even into graduate school. And so I'm incredibly grateful to have stayed grounded through my family, who continued to touch base with me during my time at Penn. And so here's my sister as well, who also came out to Philly to visit me. These are memories that I know I'll hold on to. And having finished at UPenn, I graduated in 2016 and went on to explore my interest in chemistry. So this meant that I attended UCLA for my graduate studies, where I studied organic chemistry. So I got my PhD in organic chemistry there and was trained as a synthetic and computational organic chemist. These are pictures from my graduation at UCLA. And these are my 2 advisors, so I was co-advised. My parents are here on the right-hand side. And really, it's the curiosity and persistence that I had that really served as driving forces for my development into an interdisciplinary scientist. And so today, I'm excited to be at Caltech as a postdoctoral researcher at Caltech. conducting research in the area of organic chemistry. I've been able to come back to Pasadena and provide opportunities for others in the local community through, for example, lab tours on campus with the McKinley middle school students. And I'm excited now about transitioning into this next chapter of my career, starting the Ramirez Laboratory at the University of Minnesota this January. And so, thank you. And so with that, I'm excited about training the next generation of scientists. And something that I keep in mind as I move forward in this next stage, these are pictures, by the way, of me in the laboratory space that I'll be training students in. Something that I keep in mind and that I'll leave this off with is this quote from Stacey Abrams. Figure out what the why is for you, because jumping from the what to the do is meaningless if you don't know why. Because when it gets hard, when it gets tough, if you don't know why, you can't try again. And holding on to that why, whatever it is to each of us, for whatever objective or goal we have, is essential to building up courage to do hard things and being persistent in our journeys. And so with that, I hope that you guys can keep this in mind as you move forward in your own journeys. And again, I'd like to thank you for being here today. Thank you, Mayor Gordo and friends indeed. And it's really a pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez, so much. So I want to bring up my friend Cantor Ruth Berman Harris from the Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. And at this time, all the clergy or faith representatives who are in the room, invite you to please come up and stand in the front, and especially the ones who are going to be reading the prayer to come up on the stage here. But any clergy or faith representatives, don't be shy. Please come up and line up the front. It's really a special way to end this morning. And we're going to put up the words to the sanctuary song.
Yeah. Three things. Can I say before?
Sure.
Thank you. Do I start now?
Start.
May the words of my mouth reflect the work of my hands. May the meditations of my heart strengthen acts of loving kindness. And may you, my God, be always with me and with us as we continue to work for love, for peace, for understanding. Please join me. The words will be there in a moment. Oh, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Now those are the words. Please rise if you're able and join me. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Amen.
So we're going to close with a prayer. I'm going to invite the clergy to kind of even out here, folks. Just move this way. I was trying to do it subtly. That didn't work, so move it over. So we have 5 representatives of different faiths. So when we put the words up at the end of each part of this prayer, we're going to say as a community, together we thrive. So let's practice that. No, together we thrive. Okay.
Gracious Spirit of love that resides within and among us, guided by the works of friends indeed, we are grateful for this gathering today, which affirms our respective traditions and practices that make our city a rich tapestry of both love and care. Help us to be inspired to continue to the work that makes our city of Pasadena so wonderful.
Together we thrive.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, may we all be seekers of truth inherent in each of our spiritual traditions and be courageous to always speak truth to power and to stand up for the voiceless and marginalized and prevent human suffering here in our beautiful city of Pasadena and worldwide. May we work to prevent homelessness, food insecurity, and starvation here and abroad. May we find common ground with our brothers and sisters in faith and humanity to be the uplifters with your guidance, dear God. May we conduct ourselves respecting others in the best of manner, and may your guidance lead us to be compassionate, merciful, and understanding as stewards of the world and humanity, promoting peace and justice in all corners of the world.
We gather this morning knowing that all is not well in our cities and in our world, with political rancor, war, gun violence, racism, and poverty. We commit ourselves to addressing just ways of living near and far. We recommit ourselves to a world where all have access to shelter, food, education, respect, and peace. Together we thrive.
Spirit of love, we ask for your continued guidance and wisdom to the leaders of our great city. We thank them for their willingness to serve and to work tirelessly on behalf of others. We commit ourselves to partnering with them as we work to care for others and to create a safe space for all.
Together we thrive.
Divine One, may each of us, in our own way and according to our own practice, dedicate ourselves to helping create the world that you have imagined from the beginning. Strengthened by this gathering, may we take this desire with us today and cultivate diverse and thriving city. Together we thrive.
And let us say, Amen. Friends, thank you so much for being here and gracing us, and thank you to all the clergy. We will see you next year, and Marshall Fundamental Orchestra will take you out. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.